There is without a doubt a new king ruling in the realm of active noise cancelling earbuds, so bow your heads to Bose QC2. But is it only a one feature to rule them all kind of story again, or can the new Bose earbuds finally deliver the whole package? That's what we are going to find out today. My name is Andy, and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. The first generation Bose QuietComfort earbuds have been considered the top contender on the premium true wireless earbuds market as far as noise cancelling performance goes, but the buds also got some harsh criticism, mostly due to their size and lack of basic features. And 2 years later, Bose launched the completely redesigned QC Mark II. And when I say complete redesign, I mean they went back to the drawing board and started everything from scratch. There is not even a slight resemblance to the old buds, and I mean it as a compliment. The first thing you might notice is that the whole package got significantly smaller. But that's not just the actual retail packaging which got more compact, but the battery case and of course the earbuds as well. Maybe Bose have joined Weight Watchers or I don't know what, but the case itself has definitely gone through some sort of an extreme diet. And it was badly needed, as the first-gen case was one of the biggest on the market, and that's a contest that no reputable company wants to win anymore. Not that the case is now the most compact there is, but it's lightweight and slim. The case is fully plastic, but the build quality is good. However, the lid has quite a play, and it can also make some creaky noises, but at least the springy hinge stops it from flopping around. I missed the button which you had to press on the previous case to pop the lid open, but I reckon that the locking mechanism became a victim of the shrinking process, along with the wireless charging, I guess, but more about it in a second. Now, I tend to have trouble with most vertically designed cases, as there is usually not enough room for my fingers to get a proper grip on the earbuds when trying to take them out of the case. But there is a little ridge on the top of the Bose buds, which gives me a solid grip, so taking the buds out of the case is hassle-free. And that same ridge also can help with locating the top of the buds when you do the swiping up or down action to adjust volume, so that's clever thinking from the team behind the QC Mark II. But the same team has made a few other design-related decisions as well. First, the Mark IIs got not only significantly smaller, but they are also more than 2 grams lighter than the previous generation. That's a good thing, no doubt. And second, they got rid of those integrated fins and tips which you can find on the original QuietComfort buds. Now we got 3 sets of silicone ear tips and 3 separate sets of stability bands. And that's supposed to be a good thing too, right? Well, for most people it certainly is, but it's the very same concept as the one we could see on the Sennheiser Momentum 3s, which buds I had some issues with. And unfortunately I ran into fitting problems here as well. So my gripe with the QC Mark IIs is that I personally have to decide whether I want comfort or a more secure fit. Let me explain. Bose tells you in their product guide that you have to put in the buds and then rotate them so the stability bands can give you the most secure fit possible. And there is nothing wrong with that, as this way I got a snug enough fit myself. I'm not saying that the Bose are going to be my go-to running earbuds, but with the IPX4 rated sweat and splash resistance in mind, I can easily imagine someone using them in the gym. But the minute I rotate the buds, the oval-shaped ear tips start to push against the inside of my ear canals, and that completely ruins comfort for me. And without rotation the buds sit comfortably in my ears, but I lose the extra grip in this case, and the fit becomes loose to such degree that the buds can actually fall out of my ears during any basic exercise. I tried all sorts of combinations of tips and stability bands, and switching to the small tips, for example, gave me much better comfort, and the medium fins can give me a solid grip too, but I feel like it's still far from being perfect. So trade-offs have to be made in my case, but I cannot emphasize enough that these are my ears and my experience only, and your mileage might vary. The buds are made fully from plastic and they have this short stem design, and even though they are much more compact than before, the battery life shows some improvements when compared to the old QC buds. The Mark IIs can last up to 7 hours and 8 minutes with ANC turned up all the way, according to my own tests. And since there is no option to disable or turn off the active noise cancelling, I was curious to see what happens to the battery life with the ANC pulled all the way down, but basically I got the same results with 7 hours and a couple of minutes. I never really understood why we could not turn the ANC off on the previous model, and I don't get why there is no such option still. But what raises my eyebrows even higher is the fact that they removed the wireless charging support from the case. The first gen case was huge, but at least it came with Qi wireless charging on board. In 2022, for €300 or dollars, it's a major omission from the manufacturer, and other than the obvious change in size, I don't think there can be any reasonable explanation as to why they decided to come out with their latest top-of-the-line earbuds without Qi wireless charging support. And while we talk about missing features, there is no multi-point or automatic switching between sources either, but what I really cannot comprehend is why we cannot use each bud on its own. There is no single bud mode support, as it's only the right bud that connects to your source, so the minute you put it away in the case, that connection is gone. I'm not sure why Bose still resists to add this feature to their flagship product, while earbuds that costs like $50 can do mono mode, and with the Bluetooth 5.3 compatible chip on board, I don't think there should be any limitations like that. Another feature that Bose refuses to add to their buds is an advanced codec option such as aptX or LDAC. All we get is SBC and AAC, but at least the connection itself is stable and I did not experience any signal dropouts during my tests. Watching movies is free from any lip sync issues, but the gaming performance is only okay as we don't have a specific low latency mode. Since there are 4 microphones in each bud, one would expect outstanding clarity and natural sounding voices during a phone call. But I believe that the Bose buds struggle to meet those expectations even in the most quiet environments, such as this room I'm sitting in. And now let's see how the microphones can cope with rather adverse conditions, such as stronger than average wind and heavy traffic noise. And that concludes my phone call quality test of the QuietComfort Mark II. Whether it's good enough or not, well, I will let you be the judge of it, so just leave a comment down below with your opinion. But what a great feature regardless is that you can set up in the app how much of your own voice you want to hear during the phone call. Onto the touch controls, they are definitely better than they were on the original QC buds when they came out. Now we got an almost full suite of controls, including play, pause, tracks and volume, which can be adjusted on both buds by swiping up and down. That's very similar to how you can adjust volume on the second generation AirPods Pro. However, the surface of the stem is larger here, making it a bigger target, which is easier to hit. Another similarity to Apple's latest and greatest is that using the shortcut option in the app, now you can assign either the ambient sound controls or the voice assistant to the press and hold action on each button separately. The rest of the tapping actions cannot be customized at all, again same as on the AirPods Pro. The controls work well for the most part, but there is one thing which bothers me a lot, and that's the sound the earbuds make when you tap them. And I don't mean voice prompts or anything like that, but the sound the physical tapping action creates through the body of the earbuds themselves. The buds act like a drum of sorts, as they amplify the sound of your fingers, making some loud and annoying noise almost every time you tap them. Except for the swiping and the press and hold actions where there is no such noise. Maybe it's just my ears again, but that's something I never experienced before. Onto the Bose smartphone app, you can find 5 options on the main page. One is for noise cancelling and ambient modes, there is an EQ with 4 presets and custom settings, then there is the shortcut for the touch controls, some product using tips and the connection menu where you can manually switch between previously connected devices. It somewhat makes up for the lack of multipoint, but it's not nearly as convenient as automatic switching would be. Going into the settings, you can find the tip fit test option, which runs a short sound test called Custom Tune to check the seal of the tips, and it also tailors the sound signature of the buds to the acoustics of your very own ear canals. You can play around with the amount of self-voice you can hear during a phone call, you can disable voice prompts and set up how you want the smart sensors to work on the buds. You can enable autoplay pause, which pauses playback when you take out one or both earbuds. You can also allow the earbuds to automatically answer an incoming phone call when you put one earbud in your ear. And auto transparency means that noise cancellation changes to the lowest level when there is only one earbud in your ear, which is more than likely going to be the right one. Of course, you can do software updates, and there are some more product using guides in the app, but there is not much else on offer here. No custom touch controls, no custom layout, no location-based smart options, or any other premium features the competition have in their arsenal. So the app is okay, but it's only okay. And let me take a moment here to tell you that so far I'm a bit disappointed. Maybe more than just a bit if I'm completely honest, but maybe you have noticed that yourself. I feel like that Bose did not listen to most of the criticism they got for their first gen QC buds. But I left all the good stuff to the end. The House of QuietComfort has a noble bloodline of market-leading noise cancellers, so good ANC is embedded in the DNA of the new Bose QC Mark II as well. The sheer noise-cancelling performance of these buds is unparalleled in the true wireless earbuds market right now. All sorts of noises are drowned out, from constant low-pitch rumbles to random higher-frequency voices. I never heard earbuds doing such a great job at taming background chatter as the Bose QC Mark II. But Bose managed to sneak in a few annoying hiccups here as well. First, there is the substantial amount of hiss we get when the ANC is maxed out. True, there is not too much of a pressure on the eardrums, which at least makes using the ANC comfortable even for hours on end. Second, there are the settings, or modes as Bose like to call it. There are two modes by default. One of them is quiet, which is noise cancelling at its strongest, and the other one is aware, which is basically transparency. Here we can enable Active Sense, which monitors the surrounding noise levels and turns them down if things get suddenly too loud. It's called Adaptive Transparency on the AirPods Pro, and it works better there in my opinion, but the QC Mark II does a good job as well. And transparency mode in general is not as natural sounding as it is on the AirPods Pro. Higher frequencies get a bit muted, and you can also hear more hiss in the sound when aware mode is active. In fact, there is so much white noise that a couple of times during my tests I actually had to check if it was raining outside or it was just the buds I could hear. It's that bad. Beside quiet and aware, we can add two more modes to our list of presets, so we can toggle through all four using the touch controls. We get custom sliders to adjust the strength of ANC in these two extra modes, but there is no way to completely turn the ANC off. Even if we pull down the slider all the way, the ANC remains active, draining the battery. Why not give us the option to simply turn it off in case we don't need it? I can hardly imagine it to be an oversight, so that must have been a conscious decision that serves a purpose. Maybe it would mess with the tuning of the buds, I don't know, but still it's something that you don't see with other manufacturers. So the whole ANC thing is a bit of a mixed bag. However, if your only concern is basic noise cancelling performance, then you cannot find a better option today on the market. It's exceptionally good, and it certainly can compete with some over-ear ANC headphones in that regard, which is quite an achievement coming from in-ear buds of this size. Moving on to the sound, this is another area where Bose products have a tendency of delivering outstanding results. And the Mark IIs do not disappoint here either. The lower registers have body and heft, there is good extension with a tremendous amount of power in the bass. It's like a dream come true for bass heads, but Bose did not make the usual mistake of just turning up the bass at the expense of speed, finesse, or balance. The rest of the frequency range can also keep up with the outstanding bass. We get a rich mid-range with a solid presence in the mix. Vocals stand out, they are rich and warm. Male and female singers step forward and get closer to you than usual. The whole thing feels more intimate, if that makes any sense. Everything is a little center focused, not as wide or spacious as on the Sennheiser Momentum 3 for example, so vocals get a highlighted spot in the middle. It doesn't mean that we don't get enough separation, as we can clearly hear each and every instrument in their respective spot on the soundstage, so that's very good, but a bit more air in the presentation would not hurt. I usually prefer a sound which is wider and more enveloping, and not so much in the middle of my head, but there is something charming about the intimacy in the sound of the QC Mark II. And you will never get distracted by harshness or sibilance in the treble either. You are served with all the details there are, so you won't miss anything, but maybe at the top end we get ever so slightly less of an extension and energy than on the Momentum 3s again. And even if the sense of space is not quite as large as I would generally like it to be, I have to say that I found the Bose QC Mark II extremely fun to listen to, regardless of genre or mood. And the great ANC can only contribute to this experience across all use case scenarios. Maybe the excessive amount of hiss hinders the performance of the buds due to masking some of the higher-end details, but that fact has hardly ever affected the fun I had when listening to music with the Bose buds. But there are loads of other facts that can and will affect your experience with the second-gen QuietComfort earbuds. The list of missing features is almost as long as it was with the previous model. There is still no high-res codec support, no multi-point, no single bud mode, no spatial audio, and on top of that they got rid of wireless charging as well. Battery life, even if slightly better, is still only average, comfort might be an issue for some, and the app did not improve as much either. So from a spec list perspective, nothing really changed. But two, maybe the most important features which were already the real strength of the first generation, namely the sound and the ANC, have both improved. And at the end of the day, if we strip the whole thing down to what really matters, then you get a pair of earbuds which are hard to beat as far as sound quality and active noise cancellation are concerned as of today at the end of 2022. I paid 300 euros out of my own pocket for the buds, and I'm definitely going to keep them for myself, as again, in my opinion, the reference level ANC and the fun sound make up for most of the quirks and issues I had with the buds. Whether it's worth the rather hefty price tag or not in the grand scheme of things, well, this is a question you will have to answer for yourself. And I'm honestly curious about your take on the Bose QC Mark II, so leave a comment with your opinion and let's keep the discussion going on in a written form. But this review has come to an end. Please do not forget to give it a thumbs up, and subscribing to the channel would also help me big time going forward. And talking about going forward, I'm planning to do quite a few comparison videos in the next couple of weeks, including one with the very best ANC earbuds, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.